To Nagoya, Japan, as we take a look at the AICHI Arena, brand new here in Nagoya. Just opened up in July, and now it's hosting the Grand Prix final. I'm Ted Barton along with Mark Conradi. And Mark, we've got an exciting two events coming up. The Paris Prix will start in just a few moments.
Yes, the first time that we will see medals be decided in a senior event. We have enjoyed already today some of the junior competition, but now we get eager to see how things will unfold in this prestigious, exciting, and very nerve-wracking Olympic season as the senior Grand Prix final continues.
And the city of Nagoya and the AICHI Arena here have been wonderful hosts. What a spectacular facility. The skaters absolutely love it. It's exciting, it's dynamic, it's powerful, and the building is almost completely full. It's a huge audience and such appreciative and knowledgeable fans.
Yes, and they will be particularly excited to see Miura and Kihara, the hometown favourites, Ryuichi Kihara, coming from this city, and they lead the field after the first portion of the competition, which took place yesterday. Their short program leads by a narrow margin above the Italians Sara Conti and Niccolo Macci.
Now, for you, Mark, any surprises coming out of the short program?
I think it is a little bit surprising to see some of the vulnerabilities taking place within the pairs event. Throughout the Senior Grand Prix series, we did see some surprise, not necessarily results, but performances, and there certainly seems a sense of Olympic pressure already still with weeks away from the Milano Cortina Olympic Games, which is obviously very heavily lying on the minds and the mindset of the athletes, because there are so many in this discipline who are potentially capable of taking a medal and indeed the Olympic title.
Yeah, and quickly, I think what's so difficult with this discipline is there are so many elements that could easily change. You know, you go down on the throw or on side-by-side jumps, and those scores will change dramatically very, very quickly. So you have to skate as well as you can, as clean as you can, in order to secure your spot or be able to move forward.
And as we look ahead to the free skate, we see that there are just over 6 points separating Diana Stellato-Dudek and Maxime Deschamps from Miura and Kihara, as we see the judges on screen now. And that difference between first and sixth place, although it could be considered a chasm, the volatility of what we saw take place through the series does suggest that there could be big movement within this free skate event.
Listen, in ice dance, that would be an impossible amount, but in pair skating, it is not.
It's a lift. Yeah, it is one lift.
It's a lift.
Perhaps surprisingly, throughout the Grand Prix series, which of course preceded this final event on the Grand Prix, lift didn't happen for all of the teams. There will be 3 lifts in a senior free skate. They, alongside the 2 side-by-side jumping passes and the 2 throws, have to be solid and consistent for those wanting to take medals.
Well, these teams, as we start the opening to the presentation of the first group to take the ice, these teams backstage, I'm sure, focused, but also a little nervous, because although this does not mean anything in regards to qualifying for the Olympic Games, it does sort of set the standard, and it sets not a protocol perhaps, but sets the favorites. Our first team out representing Canada, Diana Stellato-Dudek and Maxime Deschamps. And there they are. They find themselves in last place and 6th place here. A bit of a rough skate in the short program. They have a strong free, and they're looking to rebound here tonight. Up next, Minerva, Fabienne Hassa, and Nikita Volodin representing Germany. And our next team had a great short program representing Hungary, Maria Pavlova and Alexei Shevchenko. I thought this team skated a great short program, and you know, it was
interesting with the Olympic Winter Games heavy on the minds of the athletes. Interesting to see that in this group, Maria Pavlova and Alexis Sviatchenko from Hungary leading the more seasoned and successful team from Canada and Germany. And perhaps the Hungarians come into this with less onus and pressure of responsibility of securing a result, skating with perhaps less pressure upon them, as we see Diana Stellato-Dudek on screen. And it's just an amazing story, Ted. The eldest ever world champion in our sport, taking to a new discipline upon her return. And there, Maxime Deschamps, her partner. And so often we revere and reward Diana for the amazing history-making prowess that she can boast, but she couldn't do it without that man on screen, and they've made a wondrous partnership. And I sincerely hope that today in the free skate they can deliver a redeeming free skate, putting them back in the medal mix.
Such an important point. Maxime Deschamps does an amazing job. He's sort of a silent partner to a certain degree, but without his strength and consistency, the team and Diana would not have been able to experience what she has at her stage and age of life, which is remarkable, but it's only remarkable because of the two of them.
Indeed. And talking of partnerships, it continues to be a fascinating partnership between Minerva Fabian Haza and Nikita Volodin. Nikita, now a German citizen and thus eligible to represent Germany at the Olympic Winter Games in February. But last season, many suggested that they perhaps ought to have won the world title in Boston. They were a very close second to Miura and Kihara. And maybe he stands a little bit of that pressure and responsibility on them. Certainly mistakes made in the short program.
But they have wonderful quality, not only tremendously difficult elements, but the quality of those elements, if performed to the level that they can, they're a real threat.
Gold medal contenders. As we see Maria Pavlova and Alexei Sviatchenko.
And as we mentioned, that was such a strong short program. They're going to want to back that up with a strong free as well, so they can sort of move into that potential contender category.
And they have had a Grand Prix final experience in the past, and they were fourth then when it took place in Beijing 2 seasons ago. And they acknowledging just how grateful they are to be here, and especially in Japan, as so many of the skaters do acknowledge that this Japanese audience really elevate the skaters' experience because of their appreciation for what takes place.
Well, many of these athletes, not only in this discipline, but in the men's, women's, and dance as well, if you ask them where would you like to perform in a full building, it would be here in Japan. It's one of the most popular places for these athletes to compete.
So very, very true, and particularly in this city of Nagoya, which is the home of so many greats. And we reference the likes of Midori Ito and Shoma Uno, Mawasada, all world champions from this great nation. But now, Ryuichi Kihara, who will be the last to skate alongside his partner Rico Miura, the most recent celebrated success story from this city.
And just so that you get sort of a context here at this building, you see a lot of people in the lower bowl, but they're all the way up and 3 or 4 levels above that. It's extraordinary. As we mentioned, it's a brand new building. It's a jewel, really, in many ways. And on this night, it's full. Almost full.
How the skaters will then adapt to that. Of course, the Olympic Winter Games in Milan will be a sellout, and so this is another stepping stone to the Olympic Winter Games and another experience in which to manage all of the adrenaline, which will be
and so important. I mean, in these careers, in these athletes' careers, how many times have they skated in a facility, in a full facility like this? The seniors, of course, obviously many more times than the juniors, but still, you can't practice and simulate that. You've got to be here.
And following the short program at this event, many of the skaters were honest and vocal about the nerves they had. Having been able to enjoy the juniors, we often acknowledge within that event the younger skaters having to come to terms with the novelty of the experience of performing in front of an arena like this. But it doesn't leave the skaters as seniors. They don't have any less nerves. Hopefully, they just have more experience with which to manage them. As we see Minerva just working some breath work to make sure she's mentally and physically prepared to deliver.
Well, that was timely with your comments about managing it. She was just managing their nerves and bending in the knees, taking deep breaths, and you can see them not warming up any of the elements anymore. They're all by themselves individually, getting the feel of the ice and taking in the moment as they prepare in the last minute or so of the warm-up.
And this is, I'm sure most of the skaters would acknowledge that this is one of the most daunting times, the final moments before pressure really, really hits. And at this junction, many of the skaters just wish to speed up time until it's their turn to actually get underway.
And let's not forget about those skaters that actually have to step off the ice and wait their turn. Maybe a 15, 20 minute turn. Do they take their skates off? Where do they go? Do they